Hi everyone, welcome back to Feeding Raven Doodles, a pet parent's guide to nutrition. Today's topic is supplements part 2. Today we're going to be talking about all different types of supplements and trying to get into a little bit more specifics as to what they're used for, if there's any research behind them, and more things to look out for. We will be going over nutrient supplements, health supplements, behavioral supplements, and then others that don't really fall into any of the categories. I will warn you before we go any further that this video is going to be very long, and Raven will be everywhere because she can't sit still for very long. So I do encourage you to use the time point links down in the description to toggle your way to the subjects that interest you the most. So the first category we're going to be talking about today is nutrient supplements. Now, nutrients are components of the diet that are necessary for life, and it includes things like protein, fat, vitamins, minerals, fibers, carbohydrates, etc. And as we know from previous videos, dogs and cats require over 40 nutrients to be in their diet in very specific amounts. And to learn more about all of these nutrients, check out my video, Nutrient Requirements. So before considering giving your pet a nutrient supplement, it's important to note that if your pet is eating a commercially prepared, complete and balanced diet that is formulated for their species and life stage, nutrient supplementation is absolutely unnecessary if your pet is healthy. And over-supplementing certain nutrients like vitamins and minerals can actually be detrimental to their health. So we will be going over a few of these dangers next. Most protein or amino acid supplements are given as health supplements rather than nutrient supplements typically. So we will be going into a lot more detail on protein supplements as in regards to like musculoskeletal health shortly in the next section. But I did want to point out here that if your pet is eating a sufficient amount of protein, once again, if they are eating a commercially prepared, complete and balanced diet that is formulated for their species and life stage, supplementing protein is very unnecessary, and it will just be wasted in the pet's urine. Pits cannot store extra protein, so they simply excrete it in the urine. So protein supplementation typically leads to really expensive urine. Fat supplements are usually oils that are drizzled over pets' food, and they're typically used to help pets gain weight. And this is because fat is extremely energy dense. It has a lot of calories per gram. Other types of fat supplements are fatty acid supplements, such as omega-3 fatty acids. And we'll be talking about these in much greater detail in the next section, health supplements. But it is just important to note here, I did want to mention that if you are feeding a fat supplement, such as oil or anything like that, it is important to note that feeding too much fat can cause things like weight gain, pancreatitis, greasy stool, or other digestive issues. So you're definitely going to want to speak to your pet's usual veterinarian before you give any type of fat supplement. Fiber is a tricky nutrient because there are different types of fiber, each with different effects. So some types of fiber are used to bulk up the stool, while other types of fiber can loosen the stool. And this has to do with soluble versus insoluble fibers, and we're not really going to get into that today. But it's just important to note that there are many different supplements that contain different types of fiber. And if your pet has loose or firm stool that you're concerned about, you're definitely going to want to speak with their usual veterinarian before you consider adding any type of fiber supplement to their diet. And if you're concerned about your pet's fecal output, you can check out my video, Assessing Your Pet's Poop. There are two types of vitamins. There are fat-soluble vitamins and water-soluble vitamins. Fat-soluble vitamins are vitamins A, D, E, and K, and these vitamins are stored in the fat in our pets' bodies. Water-soluble vitamins include B-complex vitamins and vitamin C, and these vitamins are actually created in the pet's body, and they are not stored, but they're just simply excreted, so excess of these vitamins are just excreted in the urine. Now, when we're talking about supplementation of vitamins, it is important to note that fat-soluble vitamins they can be incredibly toxic if they are over-supplemented. Fat-soluble vitamins should not be supplemented unless you are doing so under the express supervision of your pet's usual veterinarian, because toxicity can be very dangerous for your pet. For water-soluble vitamins, typically supplementation is fine unless your pet has a health condition. So again, talk to their usual veterinarian. But supplementation of the B complex and C vitamins are not usually warranted if your pet is healthy, and because they simply make these in their body, and then they will excrete excess of these vitamins in their urine. So just like with protein, supplementing B vitamins and vitamin C typically just leads to expensive urine in many cases. So here I have created a table of some vitamins that can be toxic to pets if they are over-supplemented. So vitamin A is one of the most potentially toxic nutrients, and therefore supplementation should be done extremely cautiously. Vitamin D, another potentially very toxic nutrient that can lead to several adverse effects. Vitamin K can be toxic, but toxicity is rare unless you're supplementing a lot of it. And vitamin C can become toxic, but it's unknown whether its contribution to bladder stones is actually proven or not, but it is speculated that oversupplementation of vitamin C can lead to bladder stones or bladder issues because it is excreted in the urine and it can contribute to formation of bladder stones. And then vitamin E is the least potentially toxic of all of these vitamins, but you still definitely do not want to oversupplement vitamin E. With minerals, the balance of these minerals, microminerals and macrominerals, within the body and within the diet is absolutely crucial. Minerals are required by the body in very specific amounts, and changing the ratios of minerals that your pet is receiving through supplementation can actually have very serious health consequences for them, especially in growing animals like puppies and kittens. So in this table, I have gone over several potentially toxic minerals when they are oversupplemented, with some special notes off to that right-handed column. The ones that I want to draw your attention to are calcium and phosphorus. Calcium and phosphorus have a very specific ratio that they need to be in the diet, or unbalancing that ratio can cause very severe health consequences, specifically consequences with the bone, because calcium and phosphorus are very involved in regulating bone structure and health. Another one I wanted to point out to you is selenium. And selenium is a type of antioxidant that works with vitamin E, but it is one of the most potentially toxic nutrients as well. So supplementing selenium should only be done under the supervision of a veterinarian. And then sodium is another one that I did want to draw your attention to as well. Just because it can cause problems in pets that have heart disease, so supplementing sodium or feeding a high sodium diet more typically, or high sodium treats, high sodium people food, can be very dangerous for pets with heart disease. Iron is another potentially very toxic nutrient, and this is actually one of the most potentially toxic nutrients for human children, because children often get into their parents' iron supplements, and so this is also likewise a very serious issue in dogs. And so iron oversupplementation or toxicity can cause problems with blood and the heart. And therefore, iron should definitely not be oversupplemented because it can interfere with red blood cell function. Now, the second category of supplements we're going to go over are health supplements. Health supplements are a little more of a broad category than nutrient supplements because they are intended to support one or more aspects of pet health. And they can they can focus on any aspect of the pet's body, so whether it be like an organ system or the skin or joints or anything like that. And there are many, many different types of health supplements on the market, each containing different ingredients and nutrients. But most health supplements do not have scientific research backing up any claims that they make on the label saying that they support certain body systems. So that is important to keep in mind when you are considering buying health supplements. Skin and coat supplements are typically used for pets that have dry skin, a dull hair coat, or itchiness, or hair loss. And most of the time, skin and coat supplements contain omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-3 fatty acids are a key component of skin support supplements because they are essential for skin and coat health, along with omega-6s. And these fatty acids, it is important to note that they do not cure skin disease, but they can help the body prevent damage and protect the skin, and also help it heal after injury or inflammation. And so omega-3 fatty acids are most widely used for many, many different purposes in the supplement world, and one of them being skin and coat, and that's because they have potent anti-inflammatory properties as well. So omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acid ratios should definitely be taken into consideration, and omega-3s should be more abundant than omega-6s in a supplement. And so some of these fatty acids specifically would be EPA and DHA, and these two are going to be in high proportions in most of these supplements. And so good sources of EPA and DHA are going to include fish oil, like salmon or krill oil, and plants are actually pretty poor sources of EPA and DHA just because they're not widely absorbed. They're not well absorbed in dogs and cats, so the fish sources are better absorbed. And then when we're talking about other oils, coconut oil is a very popular supplement for dogs and cats, but it is a very poor choice for supplementation because it does not contain EPA and DHA or any omega-3s, and it only contains one of the omega-6 fatty acids. So coconut oil should definitely be avoided if you are looking to benefit skin and coat health. Biotin is a B vitamin that is also important for skin, coat, and nail health. You may find some skin support supplements that contain biotin. Biotin is non-essential because it is a B vitamin, so it's made by the pet's body. It is questionable whether biotin will benefit pets or not. It is a very popular supplement in the equine industry, so hoof supplements for horses often contain biotin. But as with the omega-3 fatty acids, it's very important to note, again, that biotin is not going to cure skin disease, but it may help the body repair damage or inflammation to the skin. So zinc is often found in skin support supplements as well. Zinc is an integral part of protein formation in the skin and coat. However, commercial complete and balanced diets contain sufficient amounts of zinc, so animals should not need to be supplemented with zinc unless they are a predisposed breed that is known to have zinc deficiency, or if the animal does have zinc deficiency for another reason. So zinc supplements also are often poorly bioavailable, meaning that they're not readily absorbed or used very well by the body. So it is best for a pet to get zinc through their diet rather than through supplementation. Vitamin A plays many, many important roles in the body, and one of which is maintaining skin and coat health. Once again, commercial complete and balanced diets are going to contain sufficient amounts of vitamin A, and so supplementation of healthy animals with vitamin A should definitely be avoided, unless the pet's usual veterinarian suggests it and directly supervises you while you are doing it. Because once again, like we talked about in the nutrient supplements section, vitamin A is one of the most potentially toxic nutrients, And so over-supplementing vitamin A can have serious health consequences for your pet. Now, joint support supplements are actually the most widely used specific supplement by dog owners worldwide. Joint supplements contain many different ingredients and nutrients that are intended to help prevent joint breakdown, aid in tissue damage, and decrease inflammation of the joints. Now, a key component of many joint supplements is omega-3 fatty acids. So once again, these nutrients can be very effective in decreasing inflammation, and they also are an important part of joint health. They have actually been proven through scientific research to be effective in managing joint disease and associated pain that comes with arthritis in dogs. And so if you haven't watched the Skin and Coat supplement section, we did talk a lot more about the omega-3 fatty acids there, so if you wanted to skip back to that to learn a little bit more. Now, green-lipped mussel is becoming a lot more popular nowadays as a joint supplement. And this is probably because it contains many nutrients, including omega-3 fatty acids, vitamins, and minerals that can all contribute to a healthy joint. And so green-lipped mussel has been shown to alleviate pain and improve function of arthritic animals. And so this is pretty promising for the product. But once again, like I said, it does contain a lot of omega-3 fatty acids, so this might be why green-lipped mussel is so effective. So more research is definitely needed to determine exactly what is contributing to the joint health in this case. Collagen and hyaluronic acid are components of joints, and they do contribute to the health and wellness and structure of joints. There have been some studies that suggest supplementation with certain types of collagens and hyaluronate may be effective for supporting joint health in dogs and can also help decrease inflammation. But those studies are pretty limited, so more research is definitely needed to determine if collagen and hyaluronic acid are truly beneficial for dogs' joint pain. Glucosamine and chondroitin are another widely used component of many joint supplements. These compounds are a key structural part of joints, and so this is why they are used as supplements. But there is no scientific evidence showing that glucosamine and chondroitin will prevent arthritis, and there's also no evidence showing that they're any better than a placebo at controlling existing joint pain and inflammation. Methylsulfonylmethane, or MSM, is another agent that is widely used for its anti-inflammatory properties for many different ailments, mostly for people but also for animals. But there is little to no research suggesting that MSM is beneficial for managing arthritis or joint pain in dogs. Supplements that target muscle, bone, and joint health are very popular among working, sporting, agility, and other very active dogs. And these supplements typically aim to strengthen bone, decrease muscle loss, and improve muscle gain in our working pets. However, there's no evidence to suggest that working dogs that are healthy require supplementation of protein, vitamins, minerals, or anything else, as long as they are eating, once again, a commercially prepared, complete, and balanced diet that is formulated for their species and life stage. As long as they are eating this diet, supplementation is unnecessary because if they're eating enough calories, so their daily requirement in calories, the proportions of these nutrients are going to increase, and so they will be getting proportionally more nutrients that will fulfill their needs, even if they are a very high energy, highly active working dog. The minerals calcium and phosphorus are often found in musculoskeletal supplements to help strengthen the bone. Now, I have heard the old adage before that bones can never be too strong. Well, I am here to tell you that that is false. Over-supplementing calcium and phosphorus or disrupting that calcium-phosphorus ratio can have detrimental effects for your pet's bones. We did talk about these a little earlier in the nutrient supplements section, so definitely check back there if you need a refresher. A couple of those detrimental side effects are either going to be softening of the bone, which is the opposite effect of what we want, or causing the bones to become too brittle and therefore very susceptible to breaking. Over-supplementing calcium can also cause calcification or hardening of the soft tissues and the skin as well. So we talked about protein and amino acid supplements a little earlier in the nutrient supplements section, but these nutrients are once again often found in musculoskeletal supplements with the intent of building muscle or preventing muscle loss. You may commonly see whey protein, creatine, and carnitine in these protein supplements, but once again, if your dog is eating the right amount of a complete and balanced, commercially prepared pet food, they do not need protein supplementation, no matter how hard they are working. Additional protein that is not used by the animal will be excreted in the urine, and therefore you're paying a lot of money for an expensive protein supplement that is just going to be wasted in your pet's urine. As exercise intensity increases, oxidant stress and muscle damage also increase. Antioxidants are beneficial for decreasing the muscle damage caused by inflammation, and some believe that working pets require supplemented vitamin E or other antioxidants. However, there is no scientific evidence to support this. Rather, frequent exercise is actually shown to be better than supplementing any antioxidants. So once again, antioxidants will be found in your pet's commercially prepared complete and balanced pet food, and so supplementing extra antioxidants usually is unwarranted. Tryptophan is a brand new product that is used to decrease disuse muscle atrophy in dogs. Disuse muscle atrophy is basically muscle wasting when the muscle is not being used. So a recently published scientific paper actually shows that Tryptophan does hold some promise. If your pet has heart disease, please, please, please speak with their usual veterinarian before buying any supplements. Supplements are not proven to treat or prevent or cure heart disease or any other disease. And supplements may even interfere with heart medications that can help save your pet's life. So once again, please do not start any heart supplements without first consulting with your pet's usual veterinarian. Once again, we're touching on the omega-3 fatty acids. So omega-3 fatty acids have been widely used to manage patients with heart disease, but there's no true evidence showing that supplementation with just omega-3 fatty acids can treat heart disease effectively, and nor has an optimal dosage been established, so we don't know how much omega-3 fatty acids pets need to help manage their heart disease. So additional research is definitely required for determining how much omega-3s will help heart disease patients. And if you want to learn a little bit more about omega-3 fatty acids, we did talk about them in the skin and coat health supplement section in greater detail, so you can toggle back to that if you need to. Taurine and cysteine are two nutrients that are found as the main component of many heart supplements. Taurine is an amino acid that is very important for heart muscle health. Dogs can make taurine in their bodies from its precursor, cysteine, another amino acid, but cats cannot, and therefore cats do require taurine to be in their diets. Now, dog foods, because dogs can make taurine, do not need to contain taurine, but cat foods do, which is one of the differentiations between dog and cat diets and why you should never feed a cat dog food. Commercial complete and balanced diets are always going to contain sufficient amounts of taurine or cysteine, depending on the species that it's formulated for. And taurine and cysteine alone have not been proven to be effective in treating any heart diseases in dogs or cats, with the one exception of taurine-deficient dilated cardiomyopathy, or DCM, in cats. That is the one place that taurine has been found to be curative for heart disease, but is not sufficient for most other heart diseases. Just like we talked about previously in the musculoskeletal supplements section, whey, creatine, and carnitine are all commonly found in muscle supplements, and because the heart is a muscle, they may be found in heart supplements as well. And again, they're commonly intended to build muscle and prevent muscle loss, but there's no scientific evidence showing that supplementation with just these protein and amino acid sources are benefiting patients with heart disease. So this section is going to be a tad bit longer just because the gastrointestinal or digestive system is very long and it has many different organs associated with it. And so I have broken down this section into smaller sections from the mouth to the rear end based on the different supplements that are used to target different aspects of the GI tract. Now, we do talk a lot about dental health in my video, the importance of oral health. So if you want to learn more about oral and dental care and dental treats and chews and water additives, you can definitely check that video out. I just did want to mention quickly here that you're going to always want to, of course, check the ingredients label on all the supplements that you buy. And this is specifically important for certain dental supplements like water additives, which may contain the mineral fluoride. Now, fluoride toxicity can actually have the opposite effect of what we want it to do, and that is causing dental damage or dental disease, like tooth softening. So this information was in that little chart that I showed in the vitamin supplementation section previously, so you can go check that out if you want a little bit more information. Papaya is one of the main ingredients found in many feline hairball control supplements. Papaya contains an enzyme called papain, which is thought to help break down hairballs. But there is no scientific research that supports this enzyme alone is effective in managing hairballs in cats, so more research and more studies are definitely needed looking into this. Fiber is another component of many hairball supplements, and like we talked about in the nutrient supplementation section previously, there are several different types of fiber. They can have a laxative effect, they can have a lubricating effect, and so in regards to specific types of fiber, there is some scientific evidence showing that sugarcane fiber is effective in preventing hairball formation in cats, but more research is needed looking more into fiber being a good preventative for feline hairballs. Oftentimes, hairball control supplements will also have omega-3 fatty acids in them, and this is intended to aid in skin and coat health. And again, for more information, refer back to that skin and coat supplementation section previously. Many organs in the digestive system produce enzymes that help pets break down pet food ingredients into nutrients that they can then use. In normal and healthy animals, the stomach, the small intestine, the liver, and the pancreas produce sufficient numbers of these enzymes. But if your pet has been diagnosed with a specific disease process that causes them to need enzyme supplementation, like exocrine pancreatic insufficiency or EPI, for example, you're going to need to ask their usual veterinarian for a specific supplement and dose recommendation. If your pet has not been diagnosed with a health condition that they need supplements of enzymes for, you're definitely going to want to avoid enzyme supplementation because they're definitely not necessary and they may be harmful to your pet. S-adenosylmethionine, or SAMe, is the active form of an amino acid called methionine. Now, methionine helps guard against cell damage in the liver, which is why it's used in many liver supplements. However, there are only very few and limited studies showing SAME's effectiveness for treating dogs and cats with liver disease, so more research is definitely needed on this front. Extract from the milk thistle plant is another common ingredient in pet liver supplements. And this is because of its purported anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and hepatoprotective effects. A few scientific studies have been performed looking into the efficacy of milk thistle supplementation for dogs and cats, but these studies are limited and we definitely need to have more studies, but the few studies that are out there do show promise for this supplement. Trillions of bacteria live in our pets' guts and aid in digestion of certain nutrients that the pets wouldn't normally be able to use, like fiber. There are several other functions of these bacteria as well, such as metabolism regulation, nutrient absorption, and even immune function. And so normal healthy animals have a diverse range of bacteria in their guts, and these are what we call good bacteria. But the good bacteria can die and become disrupted with disease processes, stress, or certain medication. And so disruptions in the gut microbiome and in the ratios of good to bad bacteria can cause things like loose stool, flatulence, or even decreased immune function. So, probiotics are intended to reintroduce that healthy bacteria back into the pet's gut and basically promote health after an incident like illness or stress. So there are so many probiotic supplements on the market, and there are even pet foods that say that they contain probiotic cultures. Now, there are several important things to note about probiotics. Number one is that there are hundreds of different species of bacteria that live in our dogs' and cats' digestive systems. And almost all of these species are specific to either dogs or cats. This means that dog probiotics do not work for cats and vice versa. Another very important thing to note is that every species of bacteria or every strain of bacteria has a specific number of colony-forming units, or CFUs, that the animal needs to ingest in order for the probiotic to be effective. So this is basically just how much bacteria does the pet need to eat in order for it to actually have an effect. And the number of colony-forming units that are effective for a dog or a cat are based on research. So essentially, a pet supplement manufacturer needs to do the research to determine A, if their probiotic is going to be viable when the pet eats it, if it's going to survive digestion by the stomach and the small intestine and actually get to the gut, if it is safe for the pet, so if it doesn't confer antibiotic resistance, which is a big problem, or if it doesn't produce toxic metabolites, so it needs to be safe. And then it needs to be able to replicate in the gut. And it needs to have these high amounts of colony-forming units, so millions and billions of colony-forming units. So that means millions and billions of bacteria need to be present so that it can colonize, reproduce, and replicate in the pet's gut. And then it needs to contribute to a healthy overall microbiome. So all of these things are hallmarks of a very good probiotic. And unfortunately, most probiotics on the market do not meet these criteria because the supplement manufacturers that produce these probiotics don't go through the research and the quality control and the testing that shows them that the probiotics actually meet these criteria and work for the animal. So if you are going to buy a probiotic, you're going to need to make sure that the manufacturer has standards, that they do testing and perform research that shows that their probiotic is safe and effective for the species that it's marketed for. Now, I do want to mention prebiotics as well in this section. So prebiotics are essentially food for those probiotics. So like I said, probiotics are those bacteria that are going to help break down things like fiber and other plant material. So prebiotics are those plant materials that the bacteria will use to ferment and break down. The prebiotics are going to help these gut bacteria thrive and therefore are an essential component of gut health. And there are some products called synbiotics that are a mixture of pre and probiotics that are also available out there on the market as well. The immune system is a complex, ever-changing network of cells and messengers that have many different roles in your pet's body. One of these main roles is to guard against and destroy foreign materials such as pathogens or disease-causing microorganisms. But that is just one of the many functions of the immune system. And so the best way to ensure that your pet is getting all the nutrients that it needs to thrive and have a healthy, well-functioning immune system is to feed your pet a commercially prepared, complete and balanced diet that is formulated for their species and life stage, and to keep your pet in an ideal body condition. Now, vitamin C is a nutrient that is found in so many immune support supplements for both pets and people. However, dogs and cats do not require vitamin C like humans do. They can actually make vitamin C in their own bodies. So, vitamin C is typically not necessary. And once again, if they're eating a complete and balanced diet, they should not need vitamin C if they're healthy. And at low doses, vitamin C can be a beneficial antioxidant, which is why it's often found in these immune support supplements. But over-supplementing vitamin C, like we talked about earlier in the vitamin section, can lead to inflammation and even contribute to the formation of bladder stones. So it might be best to avoid supplementation of vitamin C unless your pet's veterinarian specifically recommends it. Vitamin E is another important antioxidant and may be found in some immune supplements. There is some scientific evidence showing that moderate supplementation of vitamin E can improve numbers of immune cells in cats, but further research is needed into this subject. And it is important to note once again that vitamin E is a fat-soluble vitamin, and therefore over-supplementation of it can lead to adverse health effects for your pet. Beta-carotene is an ingredient that might be found in some pet immune health supplements. And beta-carotene is a precursor of vitamin A, which is a nutrient that is very important in immune health. There are some studies that have shown that moderate supplementation with beta-carotene can improve the numbers of immune cells in dogs, but further research is needed. And once again, it is very important to know that over-supplementation of vitamin A can cause severe health consequences for your pet. Colostrum is an ingredient found in many pet immune support supplements. Colostrum is the first milk that a mother produces for her newborns, and it is found in all mammalian species. The colostrum that is most used in these immune support supplements is usually bovine colostrum, so cows, just because cows produce a lot of colostrum because they produce a lot of milk. And so colostrum is going to be extremely nutrient dense. It's very important that a newborn animal consumes this colostrum. So it's going to include very high amounts of protein, fat, and specifically immune proteins called immunoglobulins. These immunoglobulins confer passive immunity to that newborn. After the first 24 hours of life, passive immunity can no longer occur through colostrum intake. Said another way, colostrum is of the highest benefit to newborn animals that are under 24 hours old because they are the ones that benefit most from the high protein, high fat, and high immunoglobulin concentration that is found in colostrum. After 24 hours of life, a pet and humans can no longer absorb those complete immunoglobulins for their immune effects. Now, while colostrum will not confer that passive immunity to adult animals or animals that are over 24 hours old, they may still be of benefit. So there is one study showing that supplementing adult dogs with colostrum can improve immune response to vaccines. And this may be due to the high amount of vitamins and other nutrients that are found in the colostrum. It would not be due to the antibodies. So those antibodies cannot be absorbed completely by adult animals, once again. So there is only one study on this, and therefore more research is definitely needed to determine if colostrum supplementation does positively affect the immune function of adult animals, specifically cats as well. Because this one study was done in dogs and it was pretty limited. It was only looking at vaccine response, so immune response to a vaccine. So more research is definitely needed looking at how colostrum affects overall immune health. Allergy relief supplements often contain many nutrients and ingredients, and most of which we have talked about already. So we're going to talk about 3. Pet allergies typically manifest in the skin, and they cause symptoms like dry skin, redness, itchiness, hair loss, etc. Sometimes allergies can manifest in the digestive system, causing inflammation that leads to vomiting and diarrhea. And so we did talk a ton about allergies, specifically food allergies and skin disease, in my former video, Food Allergies, so definitely go ahead and check that out. Many allergy supplements actually contain the same ingredients as skin and coat support supplements because, of course, allergies often manifest in the skin. So if you're looking for a refresher, definitely toggle back to the skin and coat support section. Probiotics are also popular supplements for allergy relief. Typically and traditionally, they have been used to alleviate gastrointestinal system issues, but there are certain strains of bacteria that may benefit patients with dermatological disease. If you're looking for more information about probiotics specifically, toggle back to that gastrointestinal section. Colostrum may be found in allergy relief supplements with the intention of immune system stimulation. This is kind of contraindicated though. It's kind of contradictory. So allergies, as we talked about in my food allergies video, allergies are a result of an overactive immune system. And so stimulating the immune system with colostrum might not be the best idea for allergy patients. So if you wanted to learn a little bit more about colostrum, we did just talk about that in the immune function section. So you can toggle back to that if you need to. Urinary system support is a very important consideration for many pet owners, as bladder stones and kidney disease are 2 common ailments of dogs and cats. If you do suspect that your pet has kidney disease or bladder issues, you're definitely going to want to take them to their usual veterinarian right away. Oftentimes, kidney disease and bladder stones are well managed with therapeutic diets. If you want to learn a little bit more about therapeutic diets, check out my video of the same name. But some pet parents may want to take the route of supplementation instead of going with the expensive therapeutic diet route. But you will need to always, always, always consult with your pet's usual veterinarian before you start any supplementation for pets with chronic diseases like kidney disease and bladder stones. And this is because supplements can severely affect their disease. HydraCare is a brand new hydration supplement for cats. It comes in a liquid form and contains a lot of protein, fiber, and electrolytes. And research has shown that consumption of HydraCare actually increases water consumption in cats. And this is so important for cats with kidney disease and bladder stones or other urinary issues because dilution of the urine actually increases the success of management of each of these diseases. If your pet has urinary system disease, definitely ask their usual veterinarian if hydrocare is right for your pet. Again with omega-3 fatty acids. So research has actually shown that dietary supplementation of omega-3 fatty acids is beneficial in canine patients with kidney disease. But supplementation of omega-6 fatty acids is actually detrimental to the kidney, so it can cause more kidney damage. To learn more about omega fatty acids, you can go back to that skin and coat health section where we talked about omega fatty acids in more detail. Regarding cranberry, there are many conflicting studies suggesting that cranberry juice consumption may benefit humans with urinary tract infections, but we're unable to extrapolate this research to pets, specifically cats, and so there is no studies in dogs or cats that suggest that cranberry is good for urinary tract infections, and definitely research is warranted in this area. There are scientific studies that have suggested that consumption of the sugar D-mannose may help prevent urinary tract infections in women. However, there are currently no studies in our dogs and cats, and the studies in humans cannot be extrapolated to our pets. So more research is definitely needed in this area as well. Certain types of bladder stones and bladder crystals form at different urine pHs. So acidifiers and alkalinizers are intended to affect the urinary pH and make it lower or more acidic, or higher or more alkaline. But supplementation of alkalinizers or acidifiers without the express supervision of your pet's usual veterinarian can be detrimental to your pet's health. These supplements can severely worsen your pet's condition if it's not done properly. So just like with all illnesses, if your pet has bladder stones or bladder crystals, you definitely need to speak to their usual veterinarian before you decide to do any supplementation on your own. There are many supplements on the market that are intended to support pregnant or lactating mothers. These supplements might contain protein, vitamins, minerals, or other ingredients. It is very important to note, I'm going to say it again, all animals should be eating a commercially prepared or nutritionist formulated complete and balanced diet. Specifically, pregnant and lactating mothers need to eat a commercial, complete and balanced diet. Homemade diets are not sufficient enough for these animals. They must be on a complete and balanced, commercially prepared diet that is formulated for their species and for reproduction specifically. The nutritional adequacy statement needs to say that it is formulated for reproduction. This is extremely important because pregnant and lactating mothers have very strenuous energy demands and nutrient demands because they are incubating multiple fetuses and they are feeding multiple newborns. So, if a pregnant or lactating pet is eating a complete and balanced, commercially prepared diet that is formulated for their species and for reproduction, they do not need supplementation. They do not need vitamins and minerals and protein and herbs and all of that. Supplementation may actually harm the pregnant mother or lactating mother or their babies. For example, one of these nutrients in particular can cause significant harm to animals. This nutrient is calcium, and if you give calcium to a pregnant mother, specifically dogs, when they give birth, they can have a condition called postpartum hypocalcemia. This happens because you have been giving her calcium her entire gestational period. And then when you stop giving her calcium, her body doesn't know where to get calcium to put into her milk, and therefore her health can decline rapidly and she can become very sick and even die from this condition. So you should never ever feed calcium to a pregnant or lactating animal. they should be getting sufficient calcium from the diet that they are eating. There are many behavioral supplements on the market for pets. Some are intended to treat anxiety, while others are meant to help cognitive function. There are also actually some therapeutic diets that are intended for calming or for aging as well for our dogs and cats. The supplements that I'm going to mention here are just briefly touching on how vast the behavioral supplement market is today for pets. So I'm just going to touch on a few that are more popular. And it is important to note that when you are considering behavioral supplements for your pets, every pet is unique, and their behavioral and mental personalities and all of that is unique to your pet, and therefore pets' responses to certain supplements can vary widely. So even if a supplement has some research backing up that it works for some animals, it might not work for all animals, and it might not work for your specific pet. Calming Care is a probiotic supplement that is made from a strain of human microbes called Bifidobacterium longum. Supplementation with this probiotic has actually shown to decrease anxiety behaviors in research dogs, as well as decreasing their heart rate and cortisol levels, and cortisol being a stress-related hormone. So Calming Care is one option for dogs with anxiety. Omega-3 fatty acids, once again, are so important in many body functions. So in addition to helping our pets' skin, coat, organ function, immune function, research has actually shown that omega-3 fatty acids can decrease anxiety in pets. And for more information about omega-3 fatty acids, we did talk about them all the way back in the skin and coat supplement section, so you can toggle back to that if you need to. Tryptophan is an essential amino acid for dogs and cats. This means that dogs and cats cannot synthesize tryptophan on their own, so it must be in their diet. Tryptophan is important for many cellular processes in the body, including neurotransmitter synthesis for nerve function. Studies have shown that supplementing tryptophan along with other nutrients can help decrease fearful behaviors in dogs and cats. Several calming supplements and even therapeutic diets for dogs and cats contain components of colostrum. So hydrolyzed casein, which is a protein found in colostrum, is the nutrient of focus for behavioral supplementation of colostrum products. And there are limited studies suggesting that casein supplementation is effective in treating anxiety disorders in dogs and cats, but more research is definitely necessary looking into exactly why and how this works. The amino acid L-theanine can bind to certain receptors on the brain. So studies have actually shown that supplementation with L-theanine decreases fearful behaviors in dogs, and it may improve behavioral signs of stress in cats. But once again, more research is definitely needed for looking into how this exactly works, especially in cats. Gamma-aminobutyric acid, or GABA for short, is a neurotransmitter involved in inhibiting nerve signals in the brain. GABA is available as a supplement for pets and humans, and there is some research suggesting that GABA supplementation may improve behavioral problems associated with old age in dogs, but more research is definitely needed, especially in younger animals and in cats, to see if GABA supplementation benefits behavioral issues. Melatonin is a naturally occurring hormone that influences sleep cycles and seasonal activity in many animals. However, despite its wide use as a supplement in both humans mostly and pets, there is no scientific evidence whatsoever showing that melatonin has any calming or sedative effects on anxious dogs or cats. Now we're going to get into some supplements that didn't really fit into those categories that I had described earlier. A couple of them are touted as a one-size-fits-all, whereas others I just wanted to touch on briefly here. So some people use the term supplement to describe food toppers for pets. Now, food toppers are added ingredients that are used to top off a pet's regular diet. These toppers are usually not completely imbalanced, and therefore care should be taken when you are giving them to your pet in order to prevent nutrient deficiencies. And to learn a ton more about food toppers, check out my video, Treats, Table Scraps, and Food Toppers. Cannabis products are not legal for sale as pet supplements. And I'm not going to go into it a lot here just because technically veterinarians are not supposed to discuss cannabis with clients, suggest it, or distribute it. Veterinarians can lose their licenses for even talking about cannabis to their clients, but this issue is really not enforced very well. But if the FDA and state governments decided to start cracking down, people could start losing their licenses for these things. So I'm not going to talk about it in detail here, but you can check out my website, the article that pertains to supplements, which I have linked, if you do want to learn a little bit more about cannabis and CBD products. But I do just pretty much summarize what the FDA considers legal and illegal, and what we should and shouldn't do regarding cannabis as of right now, October 2020. Blends of plants and herbal products are often used as supplements for a variety of purposes, and usually they fall into the category of homeopathic remedies. However, there is little to no evidence that herbal or plant blends work for humans, and even less evidence that they work for animals. It's also important to note that some plant materials, some plant ingredients found in these supplements can be toxic to our dogs and cats, so always read labels if you are considering a plant or herbal supplement for your pet. In general, it is best to simply stay away from these unproven supplements. Not much at all is known about essential oil safety. Essential oils are not regulated by the FDA, and manufacturers do not have to back up any of the claims that they make on their labels regarding whether they can cure, prevent, or treat diseases. These claims have not been evaluated by the FDA, and therefore the products are considered mislabeled, and manufacturers can be subjected to legal action. Additionally, like I said, safety studies have not been performed for the majority of essential oils. Just because essential oils may have a GRAS, or generally recognized as safe definition, does not mean that they can be ingested or applied topically at any concentration or amount. There have been no safety studies showing that there is a safe range and a toxic range of most essential oils. Various different essential oils can be toxic to pets, whether they're applied to the skin, ingested, or inhaled through one of those diffuser apparatuses. Essential oil poisoning can cause skin and digestive irritation as well as nervous system effects. It is safest to not use essential oils on or anywhere near your pets. Thank you so much for watching this Popular Topics video on supplements part 2. Especially those of you who have stuck with me throughout the entire video, I definitely appreciate you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends if you enjoyed it. And leave any comments down below if you have any questions about this video, or if you think that I might have missed something, or if you have suggestions for future videos. Don't forget to check out also that video's description below, where I have included a ton of materials that I used to create this video. I spent hours compiling resources for this video and for you, including primary literature, which I unfortunately cannot fit into the description of this video because there is just way too much of it. So if you want to see all of the primary literature associated with everything that I talked about in this video, as well as the article associated with this video, and all of my resources. They're all available on feedingravendoodles.com. Next time, we're going to be talking about pet food recalls. So stay tuned for that video. Say bye, Raven.